Okay, good afternoon, Manchester, New Hampshire, and all the surrounding areas. We will be up and running with Facebook in a very short time. We have, and I want, Dave, I am so grateful that we have Tony or Tony Williams, a well-known local artist, coming in, and he was so gracious to come in at the last minute.
Well, I'm charging you. Where do I get my bill?
Oh, okay. Do you want a blonde or a brunette?
Neither. I'll take $1,000.
Oh, okay. Well, that's pretty high.
Tens and 20. I'll donate half of it.
There you go. Now, with the weather like it is, does that affect your breathing?
I just failed a stress test last week because of my breathing.
Yeah.
I stopped smoking and I felt great. And then I got really stressed out because of what I'm going through with doctor communication and people. It just seems like in this modern day, communication is so bad. Everything is just, you can email somebody, please get back to me, and then they're mad because they couldn't show up. What can I do?
Yeah.
I mean, I've noticed it over and over and over again, but I failed the stress test. So now they're saying that I'm not eating right, and what do they call it? Anemic.
Yeah.
Now. But then they check my heart, and it's fine. They check my lungs, it's fine. And so I'm going to quit smoking again. It's hard.
Yeah.
You know, when I found out how many chemicals they put in there, you know, I mean, I was doing great, and all of a sudden I got stressed out. Just too much happening. People were trying to get into my Medicare account, call me on the phone saying they were going to issue me a new card, but they needed the old number, and I knew right
just a scam.
then.
That's all it is a scam.
Right. So I said, look, if you're really from the government, you should know my old number. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Very next day, they called again. This time it was a male trying the same thing. Then I got a letter mysteriously saying that my Medicaid was gone, no longer active. So I said, So I called the state. Took me an hour and 20 minutes to talk to a human being. And they said, Anthony, you're about the 150th person today that's called in stating that someone has tried to take your Medicaid, get into your account, and get into your Medicare. Don't pay attention to it, and if they say they're from the IRS, hang up on them. If they say they're from Wells Fargo and your account and you don't have an account, just hang up on them.
But
it's getting out of hand.
But you know, people of our age, you're supposed to have that much intelligence to know it's a scam, to not give it one iota of thought to it. It's
when he asked me for my old number, I knew right then and there. He says, "Oh yeah, we're going to issue a brand new red, white, and blue card, and we need your old number on that. Can you please get your card ready?" And I said, first of all, like I said, you should know the number. And if he read a number that was totally wrong, and that's when I just said, "See ya." I hung up. Next day,
but he almost had you.
Almost. But I wasn't when I heard that. What's your number? Now, if this is the government calling me, and they don't call you, if they're going to arrest you, I had a woman call me on the phone.
Oh,
saying,
you too?
Yeah, I'm going to arrest you. We have a warrant out for your arrest. And I said, good. I said, I'll be out front with my horse and saddle. I'll wait for you. And made her mad. Yeah. Then I had somebody calling me about my phone company or my electric, saying that I have never paid my bill, and that they were going to connect me to some office. And this woman says, "You have not paid your bill, and not unless you come up with $150, we are shutting your electricity off in 3 hours." That was a Sunday. So I said, you know what, lady? I said, you should be ashamed of yourself for what you're doing, because I've recorded you on my device, and I'm taking this to the police. And she hung up. I mean,
isn't it amazing?
Yeah.
Or they'll say, congratulations, you won a free weekend at the Hilton Hotel. So I'll
you know
ask
what the
them.
latest is? There's something. Helen DeGeneres has a Facebook account, and my father even got in on it, and he put it on my thing. What to name this dog? And it was a huge black dog. I don't know if it was a lab or what. It was short-haired, but it was a monster dog.
Yeah.
So I just said, people had like Cupcake and Flint and all this other stuff. So I put Big Guy. All of a sudden, I get this message from Helen DeGeneres saying, "You have just won $1,000.
Oh yeah.
Go to my page."
Just
So-
give us your bank account number.
And I said, So I went back and forth, and I got on her page, and I didn't give her anything,
All right.
once bitten, twice shy. So I thought, well, this just might be real. She's got a Facebook page. So I said to her, she said, "Do you chat?" And I said, "I'll chat on the phone," but I didn't give her my phone number. And I said, "I will wait for you to get back." Well, when I went back to Messenger and clicked, I clicked on other methods or whatever, and there was one that had a cross on it, and I clicked it, and it said, "This recipient cannot receive money." That's from the computer.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things. I am so computer illiterate. About 6 months ago, Microsoft moved in on my computer.
Oh.
OneDrive, they took over my files. I don't even know my Microsoft ID number. I thought, what's up with this? Well, I talked to a friend of mine. He had to hire somebody to come and get rid of it. I don't know what Bill Gates is up to, but I really don't want him controlling my computer.
No.
And I don't know what to do about it. If I take it to Grolan's, they're going to charge me $86 or something like that just for, like last time I took it cost me $86 and he pushed one little button. And he says, "Well, read the sign, minimal, $86. So what I'm going to do is I got a guy from Comcast that's in remission because his son has COVID. They went to visit him, so they're going to stay out for 2 weeks, but he said he'd help me. So I want to get rid of this OneDrive. What is OneDrive?
I
I
never
have
heard
no
of
idea.
it.
They put it on my Facebook all the time, and I refuse to accept
Well,
it. I
I'll
won't
tell you,
acknowledge it.
I got to get rid of it
I-
because
I-
today
if-
I
if-
couldn't get on.
Go on Facebook and ask. Post it. Make a post on Facebook. How do you get rid of OneDrive?
You
Somebody
get if
will
I
tell
get
you.
I get it on email, and I spam it. The OneDrive. If you get it, you say spam it.
What's that? What do you mean, spam?
But
in
you
other
never
words-
get it. It goes
Yeah.
in your spam folder.
In other words, if you hit spam,
No, this is on. It just came right on my computer without me knowing it. One day I
Then
looked
how
down
do you
and
know it's there? That's
well,
what-
I know because when I click on it, this morning when I got on, I have a device for T-Mobile. Well, that started slowing down, and I noticed since this Microsoft took over my computer, it's a lot slower. So the lady next door lets me use her Wi-Fi, and I got on one day, and there it was. It said OneDrive. So I clicked on that, and it's Microsoft.
yeah.
So I go, what the heck? I got a Lenovo laptop, Windows 10, and all of a sudden they've moved in. Well, they moved in on a friend of mine. I don't know how they do it, but they did it. And I've got to find a way to get rid of it.
I get a lot of these spam calls,
Yeah.
and I'll call back the number.
And usually they're no good, right?
Yeah. They're no good. Or some lady like, yesterday I get a spam call saying, and so I told her, I said, I'm returning a phone call. I said, this number. I didn't call you. I said, well, lady, you better be aware because somebody's using your number.
That's just like a friend of mine, Joe Smiga. Him and his wife are in Idaho. And I got a strange message from him, and I knew because it said, go to her account. Joe Smiga's a male.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, what's up with this? So I let Linda and Joe know, and finally they got back to me and said, we know. We had to close our account and reopen another one. But these thieves, they're not stupid people.
Oh,
Some
no.
of them are so sophisticated.
And
But
they're not even in this country.
Yeah, a lot of them. I just
Most
lost.
of them aren't.
Yeah, on my old Windows 7, a couple of months ago, I lost my Yahoo account. Of course, the Windows 7 was about ready to bite the dust anyway. So I called Yahoo, and Yahoo said, we're going to try and do everything we can to get your Yahoo account, and we're going to find out where it came from. And they told me where it came from. It came from one of the little countries that I've never heard of that Russia owns because of the communism. And I said, what can we do about it? And she says, it doesn't look like we can do anything about it. She said, you can try to reset your account, which I did. And then finally I got, as a gift from a friend of mine, a Christmas gift, a Lenovo Windows 10. But now it seems like they want to push the Windows 10 out, and you got to have a Windows 11.
Right.
I mean, it's
I have,
moving.
I have my computer that I still use.
I have 10.
It's got to be 15 years old, and I think it's Windows XP. They can tell you push whatever they want. My Windows XP works fine.
I used to have one.
Yeah, I have a Windows 10.
I have.
And I go to Link.
Mine's a laptop, and it's a Windows 10. But now they're saying, you're not updated to Windows 11. And I'm not going to update anything I don't know about. I mean, I'm so used to, when I first got on the computer, I think in 2000 something, it was a lot simpler. You had a Yahoo account, you had this and that, but now it's like you got to watch yourself. You get robot calls on the telephone. I'm tired of hearing about the state police needing extra money.
Yeah.
I talked to one of the police officers that go to a community meeting. He says, Anthony, just hang up on them.
Yeah.
And they come on real like, hey, can you help the firemen? And blah. I don't even own a credit card. I couldn't, anything.
And I also will want to learn, anybody that has a PayPal account, do you have a PayPal account?
I do have a PayPal.
I have a
account.
PayPal account, and I want you to be aware, people, and you too, they have a thing, we got you $960. And I looked at it carefully. That Scott always, poor Scott, I wake him up even at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
I'll say, Scott, what is this? And I panic. Yeah. Scott will read it, he'll say, pay desk.
Right.
So then we actually called PayPal and then checked into it. And then when you get anything like that, spam it. Don't open the account. Spam it.
Mark it spam, click it on
Right.
spam.
Yep.
It's like with Helen DeGeneres. I thought, wow. She's famous TV, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But then somebody must have hacked her account too.
Yeah. Oh, they do it.
I mean, they were probably, like he said, that they were probably wanting me to put in my account.
Sure, your bank account. That's
and
what
then
they
they'll
want.
wipe me right out.
Well, they'll say,
But it's just a scam to begin with. Is it Ellen DeGeneres' page, or it's somebody who just made a page and calls it?
It says, I clicked on Big Guy, and right beside it came this little message. You have won $1,000.
Oh, yeah.
But what I'm saying is,
that's
you're
phony.
thinking it's really not her Facebook page. It's just somebody using the same name.
I'll get a
That's
lot
all
of
it
messages.
is.
I mean, they had pictures of her. I mean, it was her.
They can put in it.
They know what they're doing. And I'll get pictures of some of these guys that I'm already friends with, and they want me to be friendly with them. So what I do is I go to
You
my
know who
friends.
got hacked really bad? Is Pat Long.
Really?
Yeah, I got a message from him stating that there is a government program and gives you the web page and all this, and that he got like $50,000, and that he wanted me to get the $50,000, pass it on to everybody else. It's a grant, right? So I clicked on, and I come, and it looks like this older gentleman with a nice suit on, and I said, this doesn't seem right, so I'm not going to give any information. So finally I said, you've got to prove who you are. And it says, well, go to our webpage, which I just got off of. So I called Pat Long on the phone, and Pat Long said, I just noticed it myself. He said, and I'm threatening to sue Facebook, and I don't blame him.
No.
These people stay out of our lives. If you want to rob something, I mean, go away.
But you can't blame them. You're gullible enough to click on them.
Yeah.
You're gullible
Yeah,
enough
yeah.
to
Well,
click.
well, you
I
got to
get a lot
understand,
of
I
these-
wasn't being gullible when I put on Pat Long because he's my alderman, and I've known him for about 12 years or more.
Yeah. Well,
So, of course, I'm going to click on it.
I'll
Well,
say,
so
have
you
you
can't
heard
blame
the
them.
latest about the government claim? Congratulations! Did you get your fund yet of $250,000? And you click on it, and it says that you need to send in $1,500 in order to get $250,000.
That sounds like what Pat Long was involved in because
Oh yeah, a lot
they
of
said
people
that
I
they
know.
said that the UPS would deliver the
Yeah.
money, but they needed $150
Yeah.
up front. You know, it's just like, and then all this stuff goes back to Consolidated Electric there, or not them, but the other one, my electric company, and you know, you come up with $150 on a Sunday. I'm looking, I'm going, this is a scam. But there's got to be some way to stop these, and I think computers should have I mean, face it, they're controlling us.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like this OneDrive drives me nuts. I don't like Bill Gates personally, and I really don't. I mean, he just came into my computer just like that and spread himself in my files. Today, when I got on, I couldn't get on because I clicked on it, and the one file said, well, "You're not. You need to, give your password." I don't know my password.
You know what I
That
did
sounds
one
like
time?
a scam in itself. I
I
never
found
heard
one of my
that
own
at
credit
all.
cards that I had canceled like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I had canceled that credit. So I just for the heck of it, I put the number in there, and they said, "Oh, thank you for that." And all of a sudden I hear, "Didn't I?" I got it.
You know, I think I could get on that OneDrive and delete it, but I'm afraid what's going to happen because they're into my photo files and everywhere, and I don't want to lose.
How did they get on
Yeah,
there?
they're not good.
I'm
You
telling
must
I
have
just told
clicked
you
on something.
I turned on my computer one day and they were just
Sounds like a
there.
virus
Yeah,
to
you're
me.
not going to.
How come
no,
it's-
spam it out. You're not going to
You're
lose
asking me
anything.
questions I don't know.
I mean, how did they never come on my computer? I'm not on
They've
OneDrive
come on
or
a fri-
anything. I've never even
They've
heard
come
of
on
When
a
they
friend
come
of
on,
mine's.
okay, then you're not going to. That OneDrive is just to get you to go. I spam it. I don't stay with it because I
Well,
haven't
it's
lost
at the
any of my
bottom.
pictures.
It's on the bottom where you click on it.
Yeah.
And like today, like I said, I couldn't get on. So I clicked on the OneDrive and it said you're not connected. And then eventually it connected. But like I said, I had a friend that had the same thing happen to him, and he had to have. So I'm going to have somebody come look at my computer, clean it out, get rid of what they call cakes or something
Right,
like that,
yeah.
cache or something.
Cookies, yeah.
Yeah, and just get rid of it. I don't want anything to do with.
We had.
You must have clicked on something to get it there. It just
I
doesn't come
don't.
on.
No,
it
they-
just,
they
like
did
I
that to
said,
me.
it
They know how to
wasn't.
do it.
It was not
no.
on there prior to that. I opened up the computer, got on the computer, and it was there.
We had for our cleaning to help us avoid the virus. We go with what is it? CC Cleaner, Scott. Yeah, CC Cleaner. They give you a free trial day. If you go to CC Cleaner, it will clean everything out.
Yeah, but what if it cleans out something I don't want? See,
Oh
I
no,
am
no,
so,
no! All it does is clean out the virus and stuff like that. You
doesn't-
need to
it doesn't-
protect.
So what do you do?
It doesn't clean
you
your
type
files.
in CC Cleaner
Yeah,
for Google.
yeah. Google cccleaner.com.
Yeah.
And then they'll get like we have one. We get a 90-day free trial, and that does an excellent job.
It's called CC.
Yeah.
I've got to do something because I don't want that OneDrive
No,
on
because
there. And
well, when I do, and when I use, either when I get through using my computer, or before I go on, I'll do the CC Cleaner, and then we have another one comes on avast.com, but they all want money in order to.
I see. I can't do that.
No, you know.
I don't. Like I said, I have a debit card that I use from St. Mary's Bank, and I use that for my dentures, and that's it.
Yeah.
And that's all. I write checks to pay my other bills. You know, I don't. Some parts of this modern world, I just don't like.
No.
I don't like it at all.
By the way, I want to send out well wishes to Sarah Beaudry and hope she's feeling better.
Yes.
Okay, and I got her booked in for November 24th. Okay, and so anyway, today we want to thank Tony for coming in to last minute. Look at that. Now you did all this artwork. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay. How long have you been an artist? All your life?
Probably all my life without really. What happened to me was I got into cartoons, and all my friends did when we were younger, and we draw cartoon characters. And then when Walt Disney came out, and there was a ton of characters. So I think I started out, drawing Mickey Mouse and the rest of them, and I let it go because I figured, better things to do, baseball, whatever. But I always loved art. There was something about it. I think I saw a lot of stories about Leonardo da Vinci, and I still think that he came from a UFO, but that's just my opinion.
I agree with you. See, I believe in aliens.
That man invented, people don't realize this, not only was he famous for the Mona Lisa, but the Last Supper, you look at that and it's, my God, the flesh tones that he used weren't even available to most artists in the world at that time. It would take years for them to come over, the pigments, on a ship before anybody got them. How he did the Mona Lisa, still, people go, where do you get the pigments? Where do you this and that? He invented the helicopter, the Gatling gun, the machine gun, the parachute, the submarine, the airplane, all on paper. He even had all the ingredients to make the sub go in water and out of water in the 1500s. That just makes me like...
I'm a firm believer in UFOs. I'm a firm believer in aliens.
Yeah. I just wonder how people can be that far ahead. It's like Einstein. He had all the mathematical formula for the atomic bomb that we dropped on Hiroshima.
Yeah.
And remember Truman? Well, I don't know if you study history or not, but Truman called them into the office before they dropped it. And I saw a recap of that, I don't know how many times, and Einstein said, because Truman asked him what could backfire. And Einstein said these words, which back then must have scared the heck out of him. It could set off every atom in the universe. But my point is, he did this all on paper by the time he was 19 years old. Yeah. And when he got older, he gave it to Oppenheimer, which even brought it further. But I mean, where do these people come from?
Yeah. I'm a firm believer. And I actually will honestly say I have talked to clients that come into my office. Mm-hmm. I can almost see that written there from another planet. And as crazy as that sounds, and they agree, and crazy, they can call me mental mental retarded.
You got to stop eating post-toast.
There you go. And I actually will almost see the formation. Okay, and I'll talk to them like a lady that came in from Uranus planet. Mm-hmm. Who's to say that there's not other living creatures on different?
I don't believe there's any other humans out there. I believe that we are the only humans but
there's some kind of living.
That we are here for a reason and a purpose.
Oh yeah.
And but I don't believe there's other humans out there. No.
Do you see where what's his name that played in Star Wars?
Yeah, it went in space. Yeah.
That must have been pretty exciting for him.
It was that Elon Musk that put that out.
Yeah.
The billionaire. I wonder if they paid him to do that, or he just did it for free, or
he did it just for the excitement.
Just for excitement. Yeah, I saw him.
To say he'd been there.
Yeah. It's incredible, and I bet it made him really feel good because there he was acting like he was going into outer space. Right. Star Trek was ahead of its time too.
Oh, all these. I don't want like one of the Harry Potter. What's the say? And all that. Yeah. And I can remember when I was in the 4th grade, they had the paper basically called Current Event, a weekly newspaper. And I can remember them saying in the newspaper that there was going to be plastic that people would be paying with and not money. And we all started laughing. And what are they doing today?
Right. I think they want to... I got a book about 15, 20 years ago. It's the 80s sometime. And it was called When Your Money Fails and We Enter the Cashless Society. And I really believe...
Oh, we're already starting it.
Yeah, last I read, China and Iran and Germany are working on their own currency and knock the dollar bill out of existence.
Well, and Biden's going along with it.
Yes. Well, I don't want to get too deep there.
Oh, that's okay. I am. We're very strong Republicans.
Well, Biden's got problems.
I don't believe
Well,
he took
he's
that shot either.
anti-American.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
pro-American, put it that way.
Me too. I'll just never forget the look on Boris Johnson's face when he's talking to Biden, and all of a sudden Biden goes,
Yeah.
and Boris is going, "What do I do now?"
They showed a picture of Biden supposedly getting a booster shot.
Yeah, that was.
If you look at that picture closely, and I'll challenge every one of you, okay? If you look at that picture closely, it's not going in his arm. It's beside his arm.
Well,
If you look at where the cotton is.
Have you heard the latest that they're saying that be prepared for Biden to step down and Kamala Harris is going to be president, which I think was the plan all along.
Oh, absolutely.
Here's what I wonder, and it's like Ronald Reagan, I think, was a decent president.
Sure was.
But one thing that I could never understand was within his third year, his Alzheimer's, people could tell that he was starting to lose it. And then you have someone like George Herbert Walker Bush, who every time he ran for office in Texas, people just didn't want him for some reason. I mean,
Yeah.
I wouldn't want him either. But in 1991, in September the 9th, 1991, or no, was it the 11th? Yeah. 1991, he stands before Congress and he says, right at the end of his little speech to the Senate and us, the people, that America's headed for a new world order. And then automatically in my head, I go back to the pictures of Prescott Bush with his arms around Adolf Hitler, and it goes back to his son, the other clown, and September the 11th, when the buildings got attacked. It was the same month, the same day. I have to wonder about that. And then if you go back
he was
even,
aware of it.
and now, and then Dick Cheney, he is on a list of. I better not even talk about it. I may get shot leaving the building, but there's so many things. So many of these politicians, Donald Rumsfeld, and he's a shady character. There's just a lot of, and it's not just the Democrats; it's Republicans too. Yeah, I mean, we are. If we don't straighten up, we're headed for the dust basket, and this country is going to fall. And I mean, I look at what's going on. I may be poor, but I'm not stupid. And I look at this stuff. I think I got my interest in history when I was 13 years old, sitting on a couch with my parents, and the JFK assassination. And that's still.
I was sitting in a cocktail lounge when you get a.
Well, I was in school, and I
was
remember
in school too. They sent us home.
Yeah, I was in school, and the priest
thought,
gets
oh
up.
my God, we thought we got caught,
And-
drinking illegally.
Right, and the priest came on, and he said, "I've got something terrible to tell everybody." He says, "Our president, John F. Kennedy, has been assassinated." And I remember walking out of school with my friends, who I still have contact with, which is great after 50-some years. And you could see the cop that let the kids cross the street. You could tell by the look on his face. You could tell by the look on the bus driver's face. They were all outside the bus, and there were people stopping in the street and pulling over. And it was just an eerie feeling. And then when, you find out that he's dead, and then, of course, his brother was assassinated too.
I always
There's
felt
so
when
much that's kept from us.
John F. Kennedy, I always felt that he didn't die from that shot, that he was made into a vegetable. That's why he was on the island, Onassis Island.
I don't
And,
know.
I mean, I can't prove it. This is just my own theory, because all of a sudden Jackie O married Onassis.
Well, it was like look what's going on back then was Ruby. I'll never forget this. We're all sitting on the couch, the whole family, my brother, sister, mom, and
That was
dad.
unbelievable,
Jack
wasn't
Ruby
it?
comes out and shoots
On live TV,
Oswald.
wasn't that amazing?
Right there on TV.
You can see that like.
And then
happening now.
John F. Kennedy made these statements. "I will soon tell the American people about secret societies and how it affects them in their everyday life." A couple of weeks later, poof. And then the Zapruder film, which they had as he's going around the corner with all the or not SSN, but Secret Service on the car, and all of them get off at the same time, just as he's turning that corner. And again, George Herbert Walker Bush denies he was there, even though he was part of the CIA at the time. They found some video of him, and he later retracted that statement. But you can't really, it's like a jigsaw puzzle. It's the same thing with Robert F. Kennedy. When he made the statement, if and when I'm elected president, I will tell the American people who killed my brother and why. A couple days later, he's dead. His bodyguard, Rosie Greer, came out and said, oh my God, there's more than one shooter. How come you're saying, and the FBI says, hey, Rosie, keep your mouth shut. And then Rosie's mother, years later, after Rosie passed on, said the same thing. They came and they harassed him until and that's what they do to people.
See, I have so much respect for John F. Kennedy.
He was a president that both parties liked.
Right.
I mean,
the one thing I liked about him was he was the first person in a political office to admit that he had a handicapped sister.
Yeah.
Okay. They used to, when I worked at the State School and Training Center, these people that were politicians, they would bring their children up to be with us, but they would put them under a different
Plus, he
name.
worked for free. He gave all his money to charities. The same thing Donald Trump did. Gave it to charities.
Can you imagine if they both were running this country together? Wow! There'd be no stepping back. JFK fought for Social Security for us. Okay.
You have to, face it, in a highly industrialized world, and even back when men started working in caves for gold, or they started working in factories, if you got killed or that was just too bad. Someone was always there to take your place. That's why I was a big supporter of unions, and I still am. If you're going to work your whole life for General Motors or Anheuser-Busch or some of these big corporations, which are people now, thank you, Obama, they're entities, they're people. They got more power than they need, and look what's going on around us. If people would just pay attention to that UN. Look what's going on with this COVID-19. There's something very, very fishy. My doctor told me today, my PA, he says, Anthony, you don't have to take. So you've been vaccinated, and that's it for you, and I'll even sign the paper. So something's changed in his mind, and he's a doctor. You see what I mean?
Well, have you
You
heard
can't quite put your finger on it. Was it released by accident? Was Fauci and doing something with the Wuhan lab, not just him, but American doctors and scientists? Was it released by mistake, or was it engineered to change and all the spread of deep fear? It's just unreal. Do you want to live like this for another 10 years, Norm?
Have you seen the latest on what Fauci has done? They're taking dogs, doping them up, and
I don't even want
to. And monkeys. And this is what you people out there, they think he's great. He thinks he's the greatest.
Thing since
I see people wearing that. I got my.
There's something wrong with that guy. It's just like every time I look at Pelosi and.
Now we're going to start talking about your artwork.
Okay, let's do it because we're getting deep, and I didn't want to.
Oh no, we'll go back to it. But the one thing I want to say, folks, wake up. What scares me here in Manchester, I'm an old-fashioned Republican. People know that, and I know how it is. If you want good changes, don't go with the parties. Go with the individuals. Like, what's the thing that was just here? And I think he's a member of the school board.
Jim O'Connell.
Yeah, he's great. And I'm a strong candidate for Victoria Sullivan, Ross Terrell, and I do like Bill Barry. Okay? And I'm not going by their parties. I'm going by them.
I got out of...
they all want to improve
Yeah.
the situation.
That's why I'm an independent. I've been a Democrat all my life, and after the first couple of years of Obama's administration, I like I said, I follow it. I really follow what every single president does, and I look at foreign policy. And I mean, I've been doing this since the '60s, and I decided
Were
the
you a
best thing for
flower
me
child?
being independent. I guess you could call it that.
I was a flower child.
That was just a phase.
Yeah,
I mean,
you know.
the peace.
Well,
And,
me, I never grew out of it.
But you know, the one thing that I won't give Glenn credit for, I don't give him a lot of credit. I do respect when he says he's going to do something, he does it.
yeah.
And like he said, and the one thing I resent, because I like being independent, I resent if you're going to go to vote in the primaries, that you have to be a Democrat or a Republican in order to vote. I'm sorry.
No.
That is a violation of my rights.
Right. I'm going to use the bathroom. So I'll slide out and slide right back in.
I'm ready.
This is going to be a good 2 hours, I guess.
Yeah, it is.
No, I mean, it's something that if we all had time, we could sit and have coffee and lay down some facts. I
Yeah.
mean, you know, wake up. Those are two good words.
Isn't it great being sober?
Yeah, 21 years for me.
26 for me.
26 hours for me.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, this is an interesting topic.
It is.
We're here with Tony Anthony Williams, and this is his artwork that we can see. He'll be right back. He had to make a private entrance, shall we say. Okay. But, you know, he's really right. When they're talking about, if people out there, my feelings are, if people out there want to allow these leaders, well, look at what Pence did. He was a turncoat. He turned his back on
Well,
Trump.
but you know, if you think of it, what is the media doing? Everybody, I'm not saying everybody.
Yeah.
When I say everybody, I mean there's a lot of people out there. All they do is listen to the media. You know.
Oh, I call my
they're
congressman.
They're good for you. They're well programmed. They're going right by everything the media tells them. But you know what's going to happen to them? It's just like Jim Jones. Drink the Kool-Aid, and that's just what people are doing.
Oh yeah, they're doing it now.
They
They're
can't
doing it now.
drink it fast
Yeah,
enough.
yeah. Well, that's
drink
what,
the
yeah, like
Kool-Aid.
Jim Jones, and you know, more and the more, and I find it interesting, and I think you'll agree. The more they got the booster shots now they got 2 more coming out, and I'm not going to allow that in my body. I won't even take a flu shot. So, Tony, can you describe that painting for us?
This painting
then we'll
here
go back to it.
is, let's see if I can hold it up and not get a, let's see.
Yeah, I'm gonna get it.
Yeah. I want the blue to come out here. Yeah, there we go.
What's that across your bird painting there? Is that blue mark?
It's the light. It's
Is
the
it?
glare
Oh.
of the light.
Oh.
What is
You
it?
might want to turn your painting around, Tony. Got a glare. No, the other one.
The
with
swan.
crane.
The
Yeah,
swan.
Yeah.
This
there
one
you
here?
go. Now he's got you close.
Okay.
Oh, look at that. That looks good now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, there you are.
This is called Tangled Up in Blue. And I decided without going too far that I was going to end it with the buildings and just people that, male and female on the street of any city, because I look at things probably different than a lot of people. That's why I'm doing a series on homeless people. Last winter, I'm driving down Elm Street, and it was cold. It was 17 degrees. And I'm looking at all these young people with 2 blankets laying on the concrete, and I'm just thinking to myself, you know, it's horrible. And there were, I counted 15 or 16 just along here on this side. So what I did was I kept the heater on the car, and I did some quick sketches. And then I tried to sum up everything with Tangled Up in Blue here, and I made YouTube for it. They liked it so well that, remember Jupiter Hall?
Yeah.
And Katie and Dan? Well, they put it up on YouTube for me. It's something that sometimes when I look at it, I say, okay, I should put more buildings in it, and I should do more of this and that, but I think I'm just going to leave it alone. What do you guys think? You think it's just fine the way it is?
Yeah, because
I think if you had to add more to it, it would have distracted it. I
That's what I'm
love the way it
thinking.
is right now.
It flows now. You can sort of sink into us. I
Right.
think with more buildings, it really would have put
Because
up a
when
barrier.
when you look at it, I want people to, what is that? Think about it. Think about it. And it's tangled up in blue, and it represents every human on the planet. We're all, because in the last couple of years, I mean, face it, hasn't this COVID changed your life? I mean, you can't help it. First there's wear a mask, and you can't go here and you can't go there, and then everything that you've been used to, like my art group, the Manchester Artists Association, we meet with Zoom once in a
so
while.
tied to Zoom.
Yeah,
I am
I
so
mean,
Don't you
tied
miss
to
that
Zoom.
now?
I miss walking into a room full of 50, 60 artists,
Right.
and that's where I feel comfortable
That's the way
and
you
at
are.
home. I was lucky that I did 2 murals this year. I missed out on one that was pretty good size. So now the Chinese fellow that I've been working for the last 2 years, Shou Chang. I asked him when I did the last 2 murals, the last one, I said, Shou, do you think I'll be able to do that African one you want me to do, or you wanted? And he wants Mount Kilimanjaro in the background with snow on it. But he also wants on the left side a big bull elephant and a cheetah that's leaping in the air, not attacking either of the animals. He says, I don't want any violence. I don't want any politics. I don't want any of that. He said, and then put a rhino and some birds in there, but make sure Mount Kilimanjaro is in there. And I didn't, this year was so unexpected for me. My son died of an overdose, and
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know that.
I didn't find out about it until July, and he died in February.
How old was he?
He was, let's see, 40. She's 50. He was 48. 48 years old.
my
Well, he
condolences.
went through a divorce, and he did the same thing I did. He started drinking a lot, and I had no idea what alcoholism was. And then years later, because we never talked about it, and I found out it ran in the family, and I went to rehab and found out that it's genetic. It's definitely genetic, so you have to watch it. And it got out of control. I mean, it killed my brother. It's killed a couple uncles.
Yeah.
But it's something you don't consider a disease, but it is.
Oh yeah. When that's like when my dad. I can remember I was 15 years old, and he had gotten married for the second time, and I didn't like it, but that's okay. And when he went into that little bar, okay, they never carded us. And I thought it was Mr. Big, had a glass of beer.
Yeah.
And then I went to a DSA after, boy, with my foster mother, man. And then I saw her, I should have had that warning. The first time I ever had to, I saw, and I laugh about it now, a blue and white cat dancing on the hood, you know?
Yeah.
This is what alcohol can do to you people.
Oh yeah, you don't realize it because I was living in Indiana at the time.
Yeah.
'Cause my father was in the Korean War, and I got married at 18, which was way too young. My father-in-law was in the Ku Klux Klan. He was a very wealthy architect, and he hated me so bad. He hated Catholics. He just hated, and it made life rough. And I was working for General Motors full time. And going to school full time, 5 days a week. I'm driving 44 round trip miles every day to study pre-law history and art. And after a while, I just started sipping a couple beers in between class to to relax me. And I think it just got out of hand then, because prior to that, I didn't drink that much. But I felt this pressure, and I didn't know what to do. I was only 18, 19 years old, and I blew it.
Yeah. Well, I found that I used to go to the gay clubs, obviously, and I was
Yeah.
straight, but I never, ever fit in. And I kept saying, I'd leave. And, I'd have 3 martinis, triples, martinis or
Wow.
whatever. Oh, yeah, that'd be triples.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah. Or tequila straight, But I never,
Heavy
ever,
duty,
even at
though.
home, I never fit in. So
Yeah.
I would hide. But then I said, wait a minute. Now, got to be my son, bless his heart, I love him today for it. I lost everything due to alcohol, and my own
Me too.
choices.
Oh, yeah.
My son said, Dad, I mean, if you're going to keep drinking, and I landed in the hospital, if you're going to keep drinking, don't call us.
It's something that you got to face. And at 50 years old, I don't know why. I should have done it a long time ago. But like I said, when you're drinking, you're not thinking. People would use me to paint because I was a good painter. And I used to have this boss that I worked for, I don't know how many years. He'd say the same thing. He'd say, Anthony, I don't know how you do it. But he said, you're one of the best spray painters I have. He said, you do more work in 4 hours than some of these guys do in 8 because I love to paint.
Yeah. With me, they could always tell when I went to schools and
Yeah.
they could always tell I was hungover because I would go and I'd make up all the patients' beds.
Don't you hate those days now?
Oh yeah, I can't. You know, but yet I don't regret it because it brought me to where I am today.
Right. I like 50, so I've been sober now 21 years.
Yeah.
And I wish that I would have done it sooner. I mean, I still see
wasn't
some of the
meant to.
guys, but you know, I still see them out on the street, and I pity them because they're wearing the same old clothes that they did yesterday, and their lifestyle hasn't changed at all.
I love who I am today. You know, I overcame cancer. I'm a diabetic, but I'm overcoming that, and I have so many supporters. I have over 1,000 supporters on my Facebook, and I'm also this TV show that I do every week means a hell of a lot to me. It got me out of my. People don't believe it, but I used to be shy.
Come on.
I used to hide behind the refrigerator. To be honest with you, when my father would come in. But I'll tell you what. If anybody out there thinks they can't, and I think you'll agree with me, Tony, if anybody thinks that they can't do a TV show, they're wrong. All I got to do is talk to the people. They're going to encourage you. In fact, when I went to the old MST building, I did a reading on 2 of the people there, and that's how I came in. Mary, do you know Mary George?
Yeah.
Isn't she a beautiful lady?
Yeah.
Her
and Jean Judy.
Yeah.
I met them years ago. She's running for alderman at large now.
Yeah, she lost.
Yeah, she lost.
Yeah. But she says to me when up at the voting alley, we gave each other a hug and all that, and she said, "You told me that I was going to be a big expansion. You told me I was going to do this, I was going to do that."
Yeah.
And she said because she still.
Well, how does she lose? We haven't voted yet.
Yeah, no, she lost it. Who was it? She's running against. Who is it running on the Democratic Party? I think O'Neill.
Oh, she lost in their primary.
Yeah.
Oh.
I love her. She's a beautiful. She used to say to me, "No man." Always call me, "No man."
When did they have that primary? I mean,
they had it back in September, wasn't it?
September?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm going to vote November 2nd.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. But then she said, "No man, Jesus loves you." And I say to her, "Mary, I'm glad somebody did." But she and I did a half-hour show in the old studio. Joe grabbed the camera. We did the whole half hour. And it was unrehearsed. It was so cool.
So what's she do for a living now?
I don't know what she does.
Yeah.
I know she's divorced, and she's a firm believer in the Bible. I think she's. Yeah. I don't know. I got to get her on my show.
I am too. Yeah, that's one book that it tells you what's going to happen.
Yeah,
it does.
Yeah. And it's right down the line, and it's happening. Yeah. As it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be in the end days.
Well, we had a.
You want to? Do the argument?
Yeah, do that one. Yeah, I went for you to show up. Yeah.
I'll do this one so I can set that one up there.
Okay.
All right, this one here is the.
There you go.
Let's see if I can get this.
No, you're gonna bring it up. You get the light frame in there.
I don't know how.
Bring it up closer to you.
Yeah, bring it back.
Yeah.
Back to me.
Yeah, back to you. Yeah, there you go.
No.
No. There.
You gotta do it slow.
Yeah. Yeah, right there. Make it. I think they can zoom in on it.
Yeah, sure. He's going to have to, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a white eye.
Oh, look at it, perfect. Yeah. Look at that, beautiful.
Oh yeah, okay. Oh, get out of there. Okay, this is a white ibis, and I did this painting. Was my last mural for this year, and my murals are in the alley behind 198 and 200 Central. And I've got 5 there now. Yeah, five murals, 3 from last year and 2 from this year. This is acrylic. See if you can zoom in a little on this, just a hair, because this is really a pretty bird.
Right.
And it's got more
Can
detail.
you zoom in on it just a little closer? There you go.
There we go. I just, I want the bird to stick out. I mean, I could have worked with the sky a little bit, but that's, when I was in Florida, and that was way back in '78, I saw this bird, and they're beautiful. I mean, they're literally, there's a lot of beautiful birds down there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the birds that come from the South Pacific, and they
Yeah,
migrate
turn your
all,
painting
oh,
on again.
it's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Ah, there we go. So this right here is, like I said, the white ibis. It's acrylic. And what I do is I do these, and then I put them away in boxes. I'll get another one. I'll take this one down, and
How long does it take you to do something like that?
it depends. Sometimes it takes, you can get a close-up of that.
Ooh.
And just be careful.
Yep.
Now here is another bird that I love, and it's common in New
Looks like you're
Hampshire,
smiling.
Nice.
and that's
I like that.
the blue heron. Now this is going to possibly be a little, yeah, there we go. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll turn it around here. Now this I took from a photograph of one of my students at William Cashin. I teach art there every Friday, and he's a photographer. He's not a professional photographer, but he should be. He's one of these guys that takes good pictures, but he doesn't push himself that much. I've tried to get him on my show a couple times, but this is really, they're beautiful birds. They're blue herons, and they are kind of grayish, and then if you look at them real close, when they start to fly, you'll see purple and different shades of blue under their wings as they're taking off. It's nature. And it's just like, wow. I was working on a mural for the city of Merrimack, and this police officer came down, and he just wondered what I was doing down there. And then he said, "Oh, you're the artist that they hired." And I said, "Yeah." I said, I'm here, I'm doing some paintings. We're going to have butterflies, we're going to have fish, salmon, the whole bit. And he said, "Come down by the river." He said, "I want to show you something." He said, as I was coming across, he said, I saw him down there. And so we walked over, and it was at Watson Park. I looked down, and I see all these blue heron, and they were beautiful. And they didn't see us, and then when they finally, I think one must have seen me, they all flew away at the same time. But it just looked like a beautiful bluish streak going up into the clouds, and I had to paint it. And he gave me permission to paint this. So
You know, when you think about how the birds, like the ducks, they fly, have a leader, and they don't kill each other. They don't,
No.
you know. And when your ducks are going, or the birds are going south, you look at the formation. And they all, you hear. I love listening to them when they're flying like that.
Oh, yeah.
And why can't people? I've always said, the birds, like we brought our bird theater in. Why can't we, as people, get along like these birds or like whatever? Why can't
you
we
know,
do this?
even though lions kill, they don't kill for the heck of it.
No.
They kill to eat.
Yeah.
There's no animal that I can think of that literally kills for the heck of it.
No.
I mean, they say that even the black bear and grizzly bears won't go after livestock or anything else until they can't find any more berries and fruits and vegetables they'll eat. But, you know, sometimes a big black bear will get one of your cows or even a horse.
And they're hungry, a wolf
They're
or
hungry.
whatever.
You
And
know.
yet people will go out and shoot them.
Yeah.
And they'll build up. What my biggest upset is that when then take it away, Mother Nature.
Exactly.
Then take it away the tree. They're putting in condo, and then I love the way they say affordable renting. Affordable rent. To me, $1,200 to $1,400 is not
And
affordable
more.
rent.
And
I-
you're not kidding.
I thought about, I lived in a rooming house over on the west side. Doris, a really nice lady. I found out she died earlier this year from COVID. but she was in her late 80s. But I remember being over there and saying to myself, you know, watching the wildlife on TV, I see these lions once in a while, you know, or but they'll have a fight, but nobody gets killed, and that's the kind I like, because I can't sit there and watch lions kill this.
Oh, I won't.
Me either. I changed the channel. Oh.
So it's like they had this one. This is something amazing. I've seen it more than 2 or 3 times, different films. There was this wildebeest that went to get a drink of water. Of course, a crocodile comes up, right? Well, the wildebeest, boom, sees it out of his left eye. He comes around, he grabs it by the leg. And he was pretty good sized wildebeest, but he's struggling a little bit. And 3 hippo come in the water and go after the alligator or crocodile. And you can see later the wildebeest and the hippo surround, and they just take turns. And finally, you know that one bite, and that's the end of the crocodile, because crocodiles kill their babies. But I'm thinking to myself, I wonder, this is the 3rd film I've seen. Do the hippos know they're helping the wildebeest? And that's a question.
Oh, I'm sure.
They must.
Yeah, I would say they must.
When I love it. When I look out in my yard, and we brought in the bird feeder and the bird, and I see all the variety of birds out there.
Right.
And we also have a groundhog or a woodchuck. We call him Mr. Woody.
Right.
And we have my 2 cats, of course. Now finally, I'm learning how to get along with each other.
Good.
And we have a possum. And we have a skunk.
You don't want to touch. I mean, they place dead, but I'll tell you, they have a vicious bite.
Oh yeah.
Their teeth are like needles.
But you know what? They're good scavengers.
Yeah.
But if you know, I look at them and I think, we're the
innocent.
wild people.
They're innocent.
Yeah. The animals are not the wild ones. We are.
Right.
We think nothing of going down like that young man. Oh, my heart goes out to that young man who was killed at Derryfield Park. He was shot in the back, I guess.
When's this recent?
Yeah, the day before yesterday.
Who was a soccer player?
Yeah. My heart goes out to him when we know.
Now, was that a female or a male?
It was a male.
Male? Because there was another black lady. It looked like somebody killed her too here in Manchester. Yeah. The crime rate, it's so up and down, but it's drugs. I think
it's all drugs.
One of the things I always said, I will always say, is stop hiring your chief of police within. Right. Get somebody like that's retired from New York or from Boston, somebody who knows how to run a gang-infested.
Yeah.
I saw I started doing my first mural. That was 2 years ago for the same man. And then Neighbor Works, have you ever heard of them?
Yeah.
Okay, they paid 50% and Show would pay the other 50%. And I saw a guy shooting up, not 10 feet from me. I was doing 5 garage doors, and I was on the first one, and I'm moving up toward Beach Street. And I saw this reflection like a round light, so I turn around, and there's this kid, and he's shooting up. And he says, please don't tell anybody. This isn't drugs. This is my medicine. I have to do this every day. Of course, but I didn't call the police. I didn't do anything. And I mean, I should write a book. Then the next day, or maybe the day after, it doesn't matter, there was this beautiful black girl who came screaming and saying, please don't let me die. I'm only 22. Please don't let me die. And she had tears running down her eyes. She came up, she hugged me, and she wouldn't let go. So, I mean, she just squeezed. Well, I looked at her neck, I looked at her arm, and I could see punctures. I mean, a lot of on her neck even. So this woman I was behind 222 Cedar Street, the church, Hope Tabernacle. And a lady that I went to the monthly meetings with was coming down the street, and she sees me and waves, and then I go. So she comes over, and she talks to the girl, and then they both walk off. A couple days later, on the same street, I'm in the alley. I'm on my second or third mural there, and this guy comes out in the middle of the street, holds his hands up, and he starts screaming and yelling. Then all of a sudden he just collapsed, and I could hear his head hit the concrete from where I was. I mean, he hit it first, and a bunch of people came out of the restaurant, and I'm just thinking to myself, oh my God, I mean, and then I ended up in the alley at Central Street, and there were a lot of action going on that I didn't see. One time I turn around and there's, you get that feeling somebody's watching you. Well, I got so intent on the painting because it was the last mural for the year, and I had to get it done. It was a white ibis. And there's 4 policemen behind me. And one of them says, "Are you okay, Anthony?" And I said, "Yes." And then they said, "Okay." And it didn't dawn on me, how'd they know my name, first of all. So that worried me a little bit. But then they came back around in a squad car, 2 of them, and they pulled over and they talked and said that the house right behind me, somebody had tried, a drug addict had tried to break into the window to get into, I mean, that's broad daylight, so that's a desperate drug addict. I feel sorry for drug addicts. I look at it this way. I've never shot. I never had a problem with drugs. If you want to call alcohol a drug, go ahead. Yeah. But I had a problem with that. But as far as sticking the needle in my arm or this fentanyl, I never heard of fentanyl before. I just never did. But I look at the age of these kids, and I mean, their kids are 19, 20 years old, and their life's going to be ruined if they don't get help.
Well, one of the things, I had a client come into my office. He was like 44 years old, and I had done a reading on him. And I told him, get off the cocaine. It's not your friend.
Coke. Yeah, it's another.
I said, it's not. Oh, well, I did. And he did make a lot of money. But 2 weeks later, I got a call that he had passed over to the other side. And this is what, see, I believe this. The government knows where the coke is coming from, and they're not doing, they want us to kill each other.
That's a possibility. I won't argue the point because I could name a few names. But I'm not going to go down
over in the park where I live now, over in the park there, we're starting to see more and more homeless people sleeping in the, and it breaks my heart.
You know what gets me is I have friends still in Indiana. Once in a while they'll call me or I'll call them. And they all say the same thing. They have the same problem on their streets. Anderson, Indiana, when General Motors and Chrysler were in Indiana, Delco Remy they called it. I mean, General Motors owned that city. Everybody was working. Making $4.06 an hour, you were rich back then. I'm talking, I mean, I was making over $100 a week, and I was doing pretty good. But she said now that General Motors moved out, that the place is pretty much a ghost town. And she said, I told her about the problem we have up here on the streets, and she said, we have the same thing here. And she said, do you have young people that could work but don't want to work? And I said, yeah. How'd you know? She goes, because we got it here.
I think, as much as
I
like
Chicago, I got a friend there, same thing.
As much as I like having the stimulus checks, don't get me wrong, you're going to mail it to me, I'm going to spend it, Yeah,
what happened? What happened to a generation?
Norm. They don't want to.
What happened?
Mommy and Daddy spoiled them is what happened.
They were never taught that when you were growing up, you were taught responsibility.
I was taught by the time I was 15 going on 16, and my brother and my sister, you get a job. In fact, my father took me when I was 16 down the highway, and there was a place called Burger Man. This is in Indiana. And he said, you see that blue truck over there? And I said, yeah. Because I thought he was going to yell at me because he said he wanted to take me for a little ride, and I did something wrong. But he said, there's a black guy in there named Willie. He's an electrician. He's doing all the electrical work for this restaurant. He says, go in and talk to him, fill out an application, and don't come home without a job. and I had to walk home. That's the way I was raised, and
Yeah.
I'm not kidding.
No. When the first job I had, when my foster mother were like my foster mother. I had a wonderful mother.
Yeah.
And I went on a farm for 6.5 days a week.
Wow.
Well,
Wow.
oh yeah, 5.5 days. Yeah, I had one day off, and for $10 a week.
Wow.
Wow.
I bought more things with that $10 than ever. I bought my own. I think I'd always been gayer. I've always worn flashy clothes and never fit in with but I learned more. And then I went on a farm, and they put me in with you because they store all the cow manure and all that. Oh, steak and
Fun stuff.
gag.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. But you know what? And then I went to the nursery. They fired me in the nursery because I had gone to a graduation party that fell asleep underneath a tree. So the owner took the flower away and gave me my check.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Then I worked in a factory, but we learned,
Yeah.
you know.
You learn a responsibility.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't understand that right down here is a work-a-day thing.
Yeah.
And the guy, he did hire people to walk down the street with signs. We'll pay you at the end of the day. Taxes taken out, don't worry. You'll get a check at the end of the day. Right down here on the corner of Bridge and Elm.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you wonder why these kids, they're 20, 21, some younger, some a little older. I've seen 40 and 50-year-old people out there, but that generation somehow lost somewhere.
When I started getting back into the workforce after losing everything
Yeah.
again, so I used to work for Labor Ready.
I did too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what? I never knew what it was like to do manual labor.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what else I learned? These people that are working there, they might be drunks, they might be, they're just as important as I am.
Right.
They really are. And I used to be a, snob,
Yeah.
and I always thought I was better than everybody else. But I ate at the shelter.
Yeah.
What stopped me was watching a guy vomit into a trash bucket, and that was it.
You know, I looked at it this way. I worked for painting companies real strong about, I'd say, 78, 79. Well, actually, 80, 81. I started working for Perry Painting. And that went along fine for years. And we worked out of Manchester. It was commercial painting. So, I mean, we did different stuff than a lot of house painters and stuff. We did steel and bridges and, a lot of stuff. But after a while, we were subject to the economy. So when the economy was down, I knew I was going to get laid off because I'd known the guys for years, and they were either related to Paul and Dave, or they went to school with them or something, and every year I get laid off. Well, I got tired of that. So I used to team up with companies in Boston, the ride up to Boston and back. I hated that for years, but the money was good. So you go after the money, and then you start looking after yourself. But I've always thought, you've got to do, I'd end up, when I got laid off, going to Labor Ready. And I used to work on an assembly line for the trash company.
Right. Yeah, BFI.
BFI.
I worked there.
They started the assembly line, and there's broken glass and tangled up metal with no gloves. Well, I complained about it. And when I went in to Labor Ready, the next day the guy calls me over to the desk and says, "You can't go back there. You made such a complaint." And I said, "You mean about the gloves?" And he said, "Well, they didn't get explicit." And I told him the story. He calls BFI back up, and he said, "You know what?" He said, "I believe Mr. Williams, and I'd like to come out and see how you treat these people. And if you don't comply with that, then I'm going to call the Labor Commission, and we're going to have a party." Well, they hired me. "Well, yeah, Mr. Williams, come on in." You do not start assembly lines with people, and there's lots of broken glass.
Oh, absolutely.
And there's older people than me at that time, because it's
smell.
been a while. But what are you going to do with it? You have to let it go. You can't.
I found $200 bills on the Cavale line.
You know, you found money?
Yeah.
Well,
Boy,
good. Keep it.
Didn't take long for me to slip it into my pocket either.
No,
you know?
I mean, it's just treat
But
the workers
yeah,
right.
some of the things that you see on that.
Yeah.
This is where I learned how to say, okay, all these gentlemen, when they were drug addicts or whatever,
Yeah.
this is where I learned to say,
A
you
lot
know
of
what?
needles.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I said, wow, they're no different than I am.
Mm-hmm.
And they weren't.
I mean, it's common sense that you give people gloves when they're on and this
Oh, yeah.
assembly line. I mean, what they were doing was literally dumping trash cans. I don't know how many needles. Now, what if somebody that has shot heroin and you're grabbing it goes into your skin?
Yeah.
And that's what I went right to the office. They didn't like me at all. But I got it straight and they hired me back the next day. And you know what I told them? I said, the next time you fire me, you better have a real good reason to do it, or I'm going to take you to the state of New Hampshire and we're going to have fun. You know what the guy said to me? Oh, don't worry, just do your job. Everything will be okay.
I can remember we went on a lunch break, and there was a man and woman. I'll never forget. They were sitting on the steps, puffed it up like there's no tomorrow. And I said to the foreman, I said, "You allow them to smoke here?" Oh, don't worry about it. I said, but yet I found it interesting that the next day I was in there, and this guy who was hung over, and you could smell alcohol on his breath, and another guy had been smoking pot. But this guy who had the alcohol on his breath, and you could see was flying things around, wanting the kid that got hit in the head. They refused to pay him because he had pot in his system. But the other guy who was drunk got a workman's comp.
Discrimination.
Yeah, well, because pot is illegal, you know. And I said, wait a minute. I want to talk about that painting. That's beautiful.
Okay.
One more question before you do. When the artwork that you're doing, do you ever have any graffiti or markings over your paintwork?
Your murals.
Your mural?
You know, when I was remember Cheryl Mitchell?
Yeah.
Eagle Eyes.
Yeah.
She started that
She
group
was a
because
sweetheart.
Michael Briggs got shot in her backyard. She almost stepped on him the next day, and she freaked out and started Eagle Eyes. And we did Litchfield Lane, which was famous for years. In fact, Debbie Curtin and I worked together on a lot of these murals. Plus, I invited artists from all over Manchester, and they stayed for 5 years without anybody touching them. But once we moved out of Litchfield Lane, we were even on Chronicles for it.
Yeah.
And then we started moving around and people were coming up and spray painting them. So I had this idea. Okay, the next time these kids come by and they're standing there watching, we figured that they were the ones doing it, but I figured I'm going to try and outsmart them. So I said, hey, would you guys like to be a part of this? And it worked.
If you show them
It worked.
interest.
I said, hey, I need this painted red. Oh, wow. Come to find out, the two kids that we had, a little girl told us that they were the ones that were doing it. One of them was her brother. And she said, he talked to Mom and Dad about it, and he's sorry for what he did. And I said, oh, what did he do? And I already knew. I just had that feeling. But once we let him work with us, it stopped.
You made them feel important.
Mm-hmm.
No.
And I have right now 5, 6, 11, 12 murals that I've done in the last 2 years that they haven't, there's no markings on them, no graffiti over them at all. And I sit back like a lot of artists and we wonder why, because we remember the times. I've done a lot of public art, Norm, you know that. And I hope to. In fact, Sarah Beth Bewdry wants me to do something for In Town, but I don't know. But it works if you let these kids work with you. And it just stopped. It literally just stopped. And I haven't seen anything marked over that the other artists I work with, that they've done, it's not marked either.
Well, don't you think the angels are protecting you?
It could be.
I'm a
Could
firm
be.
believer in that.
Yeah,
Did
you
you
may-
know Mike Gonzalez?
Yeah.
Yeah. He did a portrait of me a couple weeks ago.
Did he?
Yeah.
Now, he's from Nashville, right? Is that the same one?
No, he lives here. Oh, I don't know where he's from.
Well, I know he does
Yeah.
some of these concrete barrier things.
Yeah, he did all
You
that.
same
Yeah.
one.
He comes on with John. He was on my show a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, he is he has gotten a hold of me on Facebook or somewhere, and we just never met up.
I'm gonna invite the both of you because you both have different styles,
Yeah.
and I think that's
Well, he's
good.
more of the abstract guy,
Yeah.
and that's fine.
Yeah, but he did a great job, didn't he? When he comes on, he's gonna do you. Okay.
I'm self-taught.
That's what he said.
Right now I'm taking, for 15 years, almost 15 years, I was going to the New Hampshire Institute of Art, and I belonged to a group called Saturday Live Group, SLG, and I was also, and that was every Saturday, and then once a month I was meeting with the Manchester Area Artists Association. And then when New England School of Design bought the Institute out, they kicked everybody out. And I was on the Art Commission at that time. And I'm kind of proud of myself because I was on the Art Commission under 3 mayors. And I like getting things done. But I went and I fought, not just me, a couple other commissioners. And they just simply wanted us out. So we left. So Jason Bagata was teaching there. This year he didn't have enough students, so they told him, well, we don't know, we don't have enough students for you. So he started at 66 Hanover Street, live drawing. So after 3 years of not being with the Saturday Live Group, and we sit and we draw and we paint nudes, which is very hard. In fact, that's helped my drawing ability 100 plus. Because the human body, you can get in so many different positions, and the person sits in the center, and you have a circle 360 or sometimes just 180 around them, and you're all looking at the human being that may be like this, but the person over here is going to draw it different than the person in the front, and that's how you learn. And I go there every Sunday now for 2 hours. I'm so glad because I need something to do. I'm 71. And I'm getting older, and I know that my health is starting to.
Like with me.
Yeah, and you just got to expect that.
You say you go to the William Cashew's?
Yeah, every Friday I teach acrylics. I've been there 6 years now.
I've never been. I went in there and I did a second reading for him, but I made an application out, and I just don't fit in there.
I have found those people to be very good people. They've been through some tough times with COVID, but I remember the place being packed almost every day. And because of COVID, again, now these older people are afraid to come out. But I go there every Friday, and I still have 1, 2 students that I've had for like 3, 4, 5 years. And that makes you feel good when you go in there. And slowly I think they're going to come back. But it's 2 hours of very intense. Right now I'm teaching them how to draw a face. And then later I'll teach them how to paint it. Certain pigments, the coloration of the face. And I just love it. It's volunteer. I'm not an employee, but it gives me something to do.
Well, I invited the director of the center, and she started laughing. I said, "Why do you laugh?" She said, "This is a joke." I said, "It's a joke that I'm inviting you to come on my TV show. I met you with, at that time, the Honorable Joyce Craig."
Yeah.
And she goes, "Yeah, I know who you are, but you're a joke," and hung up. So after that, I said, "That's it."
There's been some changes there, but I like going there, and I like the people because I learn from the older people. I'm going through some stuff with doctors and communication, and it's horrible. And I listen to their stories, and sometimes you want to say to yourself, are they trying to get rid of people over 65? Is that what they're trying to do? Is this population control? Because it's absurd. I know when I was a kid, the doctor used to come to the house, but Dr. Welby doesn't exist anymore. So you say to yourself, but the communication is, I found out, I started taking some pills in April. I just found out last month from my cardiologist, I shouldn't have been taking them at all. But some doctor prescribed them. And you would think that doctor would know all about me. They run enough tests, they take enough blood. I mean, what are they doing? Creating Frankenstein somewhere?
Yeah. Well, they would give me metformin because I'm diabetic, and I was having an adverse effect for them. You know, I was horrible with school. I had this new medication that I'm taking now that works for it, and he looked it all up. And then what I don't like is your name, your address, your date of birth,
Date of
everywhere
birth.
you go.
Yeah.
I open up the front door, I go in, I'm not going to mention any names or where, but it never fails. I am asked at least 3 times.
Oh, yeah.
What's your date of birth? One time I told him, I said 4/22/1850. And she rocked it down, and then she goes, "Oh, that ain't right." Really? I said, "How do you know?" You know what I mean? You get tired of it. You're a number. You got a social security number. You got a number on the computer. You got a number here. You got a number there. Everything is a number.
Yeah, and when she said, "How much do you weigh?" I said, 185. I got to lose 10 more.
Yeah.
Oh, that's close enough. Didn't even weigh me. She took my. I never had my blood pressure taken the way she did it.
I used to weigh when I was younger, a younger man. I used to weigh 240, and I could carry it pretty well because I was like 35 years old, and I was always active. Now I'm down to 162, and I've actually gained weight because I don't. I'm active, but I'm not working physically. I'm not climbing on ladders anymore, and I'm not this or that. So the doctor asked me today, he said, "Well, your blood's down a little bit. You're almost anemic there." He says, "You know, there's something, we're going to figure out what's on me." He said, "Because your heart's good, this is good and that's good, but, you know, that's not right." So he says, "How many times a day do you eat?" And I said, "Once, maybe twice." But I said, "You got to realize I don't eat the big breakfast that I used to, because the kind of work I did, everybody had that breakfast, or you weren't going to make it, because it was more than just painting. You had to climb that bridge, or you had to climb that barn, or you had to whatever. And now I don't. And if I'm hungry, I eat, and that's what I told him. I said, you know, I eat when I'm hungry. I said, I don't use the oven, I use a microwave. I got used to it. It's quick, it's fast. Boom, slide it in, you know, and there I am.
But that's bad for you, the radiation from the microwave.
That microwave? I told him, he goes, "Well, have you got a frying pan?" I said, "I've got an electric frying pan from the 60s, and it still works. But I'm going to have to get rid of it because I felt the cord and it's getting a little..." But I'm going to get another one because I cook my eggs and I cook my cheeseburgers in that. The rest of the time, my cheeseburgers are looking at me in a little plastic wrapper, and I take them out of the wrapper and they go, "Thank you," and I put them in the micro and toot toot. I'm sitting down.
We bought an air fryer.
Yeah.
You would like one. And you don't need a small one. Well, believe me, do you have one?
I have one, but I've never used it.
I
It's
love
it's part of my toaster oven.
We make our hamburgers, we air fry fresh, it doesn't shrink. The only thing I don't like is the French fries, but we make great chicken. It's all in one.
I've got dentures, and French fries are one of my biggest enemies. I stay away from McDonald's fries and Burger King and all. I used to, but with dentures, it's a whole new story.
I love Dairy Queen.
Dairy Queen, their hamburgers and stuff, yeah, they're good.
And every time you go to the one on 2nd Street, there's a traffic light waiting to get in there.
Why did you say microwaves are bad for you? I've heard that.
Microwave because it's done with radiation.
What, on that hamburger?
Remember when they first came out, you had to register them.
Yeah. The microwave create because of all that radiation that comes from cooking, from the electric and all that.
Well, it's radio waves, isn't it?
But it's still same difference.
So I eat that and I'm eating a radiated hamburger?
Yep.
Wow.
Check it. You're going to look it up now.
I just use mine to.
No, it's not that I don't
reheat
believe you.
coffee.
It's just
No, I encourage everybody
No.
to. When I want coffee, though, or if I'm in a hurry, I love clam chowder. And used
me
to
too.
heat something quick.
beef stew.
Yeah.
I love my coffee in the morning. I started smoking again. I've got to quit. I know I can do it again.
Yeah, but are you doing it because you got to do it, or are you doing it?
I
Don't force
want
yourself
to because I can feel myself. The almost 2 months that I didn't smoke,
You know Matt Connerton, right?
I felt really good,
Yeah.
better.
You know Matt Connerton? He has a radio show here. You don't know Matt? Because he used to be my co-host here. He
Why is he-
hypnotized me 8 years ago, almost
And
9
got
years
you off
ago.
cigarettes?
And I haven't had a cigarette since.
I've heard there's a guy, Ed, that lives out where I live. I live in housing on Pine Street, and he said that he paid. He took 4 sessions to get hypnotized, and he said it didn't work.
Well, here's
You have to want them.
I can hypnotize people too. It works. What it is what on a scale of 1 to 10, when it comes to quitting, on a scale of 1 to 10, what? If they don't say 10, why bother?
Right.
You know,
You've
if
gotta
people like
wanna
that.
quit.
They think it's the same thing as like they're gonna take a pill and that's the end of it.
Yeah.
You know, you got to make an investment. Everything in life to get a return, you got to make an investment.
Well, the doctor
And
showed
that's
me
just-
a list of chemicals that are in cigarettes, and Bill Clinton was supposed to. That was one of his platform, and he ran. He was going to get rid of the chemicals. He was going to meet the tobacco industry head to head. Once he got elected, he just let it go.
Of course.
Just like every other politician, they'll
what
tell
I
you
thought-
whatever you want to hear until they get there.
Yeah.
What I find interesting is they don't want you to smoke. And it costs you whatever it costs a cigarette. But they love the tax dollars.
Oh
For
yeah.
sure they
Yeah.
do. I want to quit. I do. I know that I can start feeling it now. I've been smoking now for about 3 weeks, and I keep telling myself, okay, after this pack, I'm going to quit, and then I'll get under more stress because this year's been so bad on just everything. And I have to fight everything myself. I have nobody to help me. I live by myself. My cat's getting tired of hearing me. Sylvester, and he runs under the bed. I just stressed out. I light the cigarette because that's the first thing my PA asked me today. He said, "Anthony, are you smoking again?" I said, "Yeah." And I told him, I said, "It's stress. It really is. Like this 2 hours that I'm sitting here, I'm not smoking. And that's good. And that's the way I've got to hypnotize myself or whatever. I've just got to. Some people can take a pack of cigarettes, crush it up, throw it in the trash, and that's the end of it.
That was my
I
father
can't.
did that. He used to smoke Camels.
Yeah.
My dad,
Oh.
my son did that.
Yeah, my father says that's all you got to do. I said, Dad, not everybody is the same. They're
Back
not.
in 1992, my son hypnotized himself
Yeah.
from smoking. He hadn't had a cigarette since.
I
used
know
to be
that you got to have a strong will.
I used to be afraid
Don't
if
do
I
it.
give up cigarette smoking, then I wouldn't want to smoke pot,
Oh,
so I used that as an excuse. Oh my God, when I got hypnotized, I never realized how fat my belly was until I saw myself
but-
on TV.
When you got hypnotized,
Yeah.
answer me this because I think it's amazing. People who have never been hypnotized, you don't believe how relaxed.
Oh,
you
yeah.
are. You've never been as relaxed
Yeah.
in your life as when you're hypnotized.
When I hypnotize people in my office,
It's
I
incredible.
tell them I want them to completely relax. I have a nice soft music. I talk to them very gently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't do it because I got to take a refresher course. But I do past life regressions.
Oh, I don't go there.
Oh, I love
don't
doing
go
it.
there.
The first time I got hypnotized, I did past life. Yeah, we got to do that one.
Okay.
We get carried. When I talk about that painting there and how you arrived with it.
Okay.
Boys, we're here with Tony Williams. And if you have an email, if they want to get a hold of you to have a portrait or a painting done or
Yeah.
buy one,
Yeah.
you have a website or
I have a website, TonyWilliamsArt.com.
Okay.
Or you can Google me, Manchester artist muralist Anthony M. Williams.
okay. And you also don't forget about your TV
Ooh,
show.
look at that. That's,
Yeah. Don't forget about your TV show.
And yeah, my TV show I shoot twice a month, Art Expressions, Channel 23.
You had some good guests on there. You had some very
Two of them
interesting-
became international artists.
Yeah.
This is one of my favorite things to paint butterflies because, in fact, one of the two murals that I did this year, one was a huge blue butterfly, and I can't remember the name. It's so rare. I have to look it up when I get the time. But I love painting butterflies because they're so colorful. And every time you think you've seen every species, you'll see some from Africa and wow. Or some from some foreign country and you just scratch your head at the colors of these creatures. And we need them because, just like birds and other creatures, you need them to plant seeds and their wings, and wherever they go, they fertilize. We need nature. There's more to nature than I think we know.
And the scary part is butterflies are becoming extinct.
Yeah.
I call them baby angels.
Yeah. This monarch is probably the most important, but I did it in an almost semi-abstract way. I'm a detail freak, so I put all the detail on the flower and the butterfly. But this is something that I love to paint. I love to paint nature. What happens to me is I counted them up. I've got over 19 paintings that I have started that are almost done, and for some reason I just stuffed them in a closet, and I'm pulling them out, and I'm going, oh. So I counted up, I've got 19, and I haven't even got through half the closet yet. So I know that there's a lot that I haven't painted yet. I'm doing some things for the homeless. I'm also a future city. I've got RoboCops, and I've got what do they call those? They fly by themselves.
Drones.
I've got drones, and I've been keeping my eye on what the police are doing now, and I mean, you're going to have to, I guess, but pretty soon they're going to be able to see before you leave your house. You're going to have to put your face into a screen or something.
Oh, they already know.
Yeah. It's funny because it's not funny, really. When it all started out, I didn't think it would go this far this quick. I read the novel 1984, so I knew we were in for some surprises. But when the computer tells me things, I wonder, you feel like if it had a neck, you'd choke it, because computers are controllers. And face it, we're getting deeper and deeper and deeper into it, where we are just a number. Remember that song, Feel Like a Number? Yeah. Well, face it, that's what we are. When I was in the hospital in April, everything was a number. Everything was a number. And everywhere I go now, it's what's your birthday? What's your birthday? What's this? What's that? Everything is a number.
What's your patient number?
Yeah. Right, your patient number, your door number, your car number, I mean, it's at the point now where how much further can it go? And they're going to use drones, and they'll be able to see what we're doing. I mean, face it, it's happening.
Don't they have cameras on the lights down here now? Mm-hmm. We folks. I was even told when the newer TVs, I was even told that they have hidden cameras that they can.
I heard that.
They can take pictures of you, and that's scary because you don't have any privacy.
For years, and I got this off the internet years ago, that on the average, in any it said large city with a population of over 40 or 50,000 people, that people that are in the downtown area working are on camera no less than 80 to 90 times a day. They walk into a bathroom, they walk into a store, they go out of that store into a restaurant. People are installing cameras, and all saying it's going to cut the crime rate.
It's not cutting it, though.
No. It's going to increase it.
You go to Walmart. I can remember one time, I knew that this guy was following me. Mm-hmm. So I would go in this way, I go out that way, and I'd go all these different places, and I would find that funny because finally I went over to, and I went around and I stuck up behind him. I said, "I'm right here. Where are you? You want to see the guy take off?"
You know what? I was out at Home Depot earlier this year, and the police come in, and there's this guy. And the employees, what they call it, the security, had this guy. And what he was doing was going behind women in this little device and scanning all the information in and then they said that they didn't pay that much attention to him, except that he would leave and then come back in. Leave and come back in and get in a different line and buy one item.
Yeah.
And they began to, what's up with this? Well, what he was doing was, like I said, going behind and clicking. Then he would go out to his van, put that information on a computer, and he had your social security number. He had on this tiny little thing.
Yeah.
So you know what I do? I have aluminum foil.
Yeah.
My father was an electrician, and he said, put aluminum foil in your wallet. So I got it there, and I got it there. And they're not going to read anything.
And well, look at the gas tank. When you go to get gas, they have these things.
Hello?
They have these things that they can record. You know, take you to, come on in there, Mr. Gary. Huh?
They don't make it easy to get around.
They don't.
No, you have to leave, right, Tony?
Pardon me?
You have to leave.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me get my stuff
Yeah.
here.
All right.
And can you? And then tomorrow when I come
Yeah,
in
you
from
can pick that
Mary's,
up tomorrow.
yeah, I'll pick that up tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure.
And well, we
I-
want you to come back. I think this has been a very enlightening conversation.
Very interesting, to say the least.
Really?
Indeed.
Yeah.
Interesting. You know, I've like I say, I've got a whole closet. So
We'll
when
have
I
you
come
back on
back
again.
again, I've got all different artwork.
Yeah. One of the things that folks remember next week, I'm going to say this in front of the honorable, well, questionable honorable, but
Ooh.
anyways.
Whoa.
That's got Gary Dyer.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Honorable, so vote. If you don't vote to change this city, then you don't give a damn about the city.
No, vote to improve the city,
Right.
not to change,
Right.
improve.
There you go. Hop right. We have the honorable, well, like I said, Gary Hawthorne, state representative from Ware, New Hampshire. Did I get that all right?
Yeah.
Did I get that all right, Gary?
Yeah.
Who someday I'm going to take him out and buy him a bowl of clam chowder.
There you go.
That's beautiful.
You know, and you know, and people will know I'm a firm believer
Painting I did this
in Victoria Sullivan, and I believe that she can help.
She'll
Manchester River
improve,
Road.
she will
Yeah.
improve.
But if they don't want
Standard
it,
of
then you
living.
know what? Don't complain.
Well-
If you re-vote for it, don't
And that's what
complain.
happens. They can vote, you know, these people, they vote
Yeah.
the same for
Yeah.
the same idiots, and their standard of living deteriorates instead of improving, and then they complain.
Then they wonder
You
why.
know,
Brush.
they want change, they want improvement, but they won't vote for a different person because their name has, we'll say, a D after
right.
it on the voting
And
list.
look how many,
term
you know.
limits wouldn't hurt either, would it?
Huh?
Term limits. We should.
I'm in
They
favor
don't
of
need
term
term limits. I mean, come on, you don't need term limits, vote.
We'll tell Cinderella been in for over 40 years.
Yes, we do. That's why people like Pelosi stay in office for so long, and Schumer. We need.
They vote her
term
back
limits.
in, they keep voting these idiots back in.
That's
So
what I
what's
mean,
happening
term
with the
limits.
state there, Gary?
What?
And you now, do you vote? Now, is your primary in where too as well?
No.
No.
No, sir. That's every 2 years you vote for the legislature, the Senate, and the governor. And that's on even years.
Oh.
So it'll be 2022. We'll vote for whether or not the people of Ware and Deering want me back in, or whether the people in the state want Senator Boldock to represent them in Washington D.C. Stuff like that.
I want to see Bolduc win.
Me too.
I want to
Hey, I
see.
just donated to his campaign last week.
You did?
Yeah.
All right. I got to get him back on. So
He's coming on next.
is he?
Yep.
Oh, I got to get a hold
Oh,
of him.
yeah,
to
I
come on.
donated to him last week.
Yeah, he's a really wonderful
Well, if he's
guy.
out there, he can come in and sit with us. But,
No, he's not out there yet.
oh, okay. But the one thing. Oh yeah. Next week I got Eric Hardy coming on.
Oh,
Eric Boat Hardy, I call him. He's from the paranormal.
oh, okay.
You and I would fit because we're not normal.
Yeah. Well, we're basically a pair of abnormal.
Right. What is normal?
I don't know. I don't know.
Your skin condition has really cleared up, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. From all that medication they got me on, it's been actually pretty good. I look almost like a regular human.
And then I'm supposed to have it. I'm not holding my
A normal
breath. Yeah.
human, I think we were talking about that.
Yeah. I'm not going to
Paranormal
hold my
human.
breath, but I got Mike Lopez coming on next week. I mean, the 10th of November. I'll check on him.
Who's that?
Mike Lopez, he was an former Democratic
Oh, okay,
alderman.
okay, yeah,
Now he works for the DAV,
okay.
you know. Then I got my friend Liz Santana coming on. You're going to be on with her, right?
Right, yeah.
Okay. And then we got
My dear
Sarah
friend Liz.
Beaudry coming on from the in-town Manchester, and my friend Dr. Jody.
Nice meeting you, Anthony.
Oh, okay.
You too. I'll get a hold of you to come on again.
Yeah, you can't, you gotta walk in front of it, because you can't get around
That's okay.
back.
Walk in front of it. Just be quick. Yeah. Doesn't make any difference. Keep up the good work.
Nice meeting you.
Folks, that was Anthony Tony Williams, well-known local artist from here in Manchester, New Hampshire, who is doing great artwork to help beautify this city.
I love doing it.
Yeah, and he loves doing it.
You wanna know
That's it.
something cool? Because has those birds, right? You know, Audubon painted, he became famous because he painted birds.
Yeah.
What most people don't know is he got up early in the morning, went hunting, shot all the birds, and then painted them at night. After
From the Audubon Society?
Audubon, yeah,
Wow.
Audubon. That's
What
he-
a hypocrite!
No, he's not. This is in the 1800s.
Wow.
He was like touring I think the East Coast, and he would go into the woods. He'd bring his shotgun. There's actually one of my favorite pictures. I don't know if it was an original. Was at I think the Museum of Science in Boston. A huge picture of him with his shotgun over his arm and a
Oh,
bird.
yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, because that's what he did. He would go hunting, and then after lunch, while he still had daylight left, he'd paint, and that's how we ended up. That's how he became a household name, was by painting dead birds that he shot.
We were sitting here, we were talking about, and it isn't the animals that are wild, it's the people.
Yeah, they're getting more so.
Yeah, our park, you've been to my park, maybe, well, not my.
Yeah, the
my-
one
It's your
outside.
park.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
your
yeah,
park.
yeah.
Huh?
It's your park.
Yeah. People now are sleeping there.
Really?
People are sleeping there. We're beginning to find needles there.
Oh no.
And it breaks my heart because
Could you?
Bill Berry and I, even though we're on different political views,
Yeah.
and I work, and we're going to be working harder. We work so hard to get that park cleaned up.
Yeah, because it was a really nice place for kids to go play.
The only thing, if they had they used to have a police station, some station there, I could have wrote a book about them.
A police station?
Yeah, they used to have a stump police station.
Wow.
I could have, and it turned into the animal control, but I could have wrote a book about them. Shall we say, it would have been a great expose.
Oh, really?
When I started to write, though, my computer went dead, so I said, okay.
That was a sign.
But, so have we got
That's
Sununu's running for Senate?
We don't know. He hasn't announced.
You know and I know he is.
He's
Now,
doing.
will he be going against Sheen?
No, it would be Maggie Hassan.
Okay. Well, who was Don Ballett running against it?
It would be Maggie Hassan.
So them two are going to be running against.
So in other words, what's going to happen in the spring is at some point Sununu or somebody might announce. It might be him or I'm getting a lot more emails from Senator Ayotte. So she's up to something. I don't know what. I heard of a pretty good analysis that I don't know it's true. I mean, I'm not in the inner spectrum. Was that she has spent a lot of time showing up at places with Sununu.
Yeah.
And so the idea is to block. So in other words, nobody is going to announce that they're going to run for governor while Sununu is still governor and no Republican, right? Like, for instance, Frank Edelblu would be a great governor, but he can't announce that he's running for governor while the person who appointed him is still governor if Sununu is going to run for re-election as governor.
I won't vote for him.
So, but what I'm getting at is, so people like Frank have to kind of hold back And so what their theory is, Sununu's going to wait until he has to announce that he's running for the United States Senate, and then Kelly Ayotte is going to say she's going to run for governor. So they keep it all in that little family or whatever the heck they got going on.
Yeah,
Click.
well, clicky, click.
Click, yeah, it's probably better.
That's with Victoria Sullivan, who I want to win, but I'm a little bit nervous about it because people in Manchester don't want changes.
Yes.
But when she got support from Sununu and from Kelly Ayotte,
Yeah.
and I believe, as you do too, I believe that Victoria can do a fantastic job.
Yeah, I think she should do a very good
If
job.
you people are going to complain about how the city's run, get off your buttocks and vote.
Well, you see, that's one of the things. Let me see how much time I got, so I don't go over. But
Yeah, don't worry.
one of the things that was an eye opener to me is back in the early 2000s, mid 2000s, like 2005 or something. My co-host Josh Solomon and I and a few other people tried to take Supreme Court Justice David Souter's house.
Oh yeah.
It was because he was part of one of the deciding members of the United States Supreme Court that decided it was okay for the city of New London to take Suzette Kilo's house because the people at Pfizer wanted some cool place for their executives. They were going to make basically condos and tennis courts and boat launches. They're basically stealing middle-class homes so that the rich and aimless could have their own nice little property, right? Which is an absolute abuse of eminent domain. I was amazed at the decision. Okay, so anyway, to cut to the chase. So Josh Solomon and I, and like I said, a few other people went around town and got signatures for the petition warrant article. I believe we did mailings, we had signs, we talked to people. If every person that we talked to says, hey, you've got to show up at the deliberative session to make sure this gets on the ballot. If every person that said yes went, it would have been, we would have won. But the fact of the matter is, people don't really want to get off their butt and change anything.
I think now, because of the fraud that's been going on, people are really saying, is my vote really going to count?
Yeah, there's that, but even then, even I don't think there's a lot of fraud in New Hampshire, but
No.
Even if, let's say, there is fraud, if enough people cared enough to get out and vote, it wouldn't matter because the numbers would overcome any fraud.
Right. You know Tammy Simmons?
Simmons, yeah.
I think she's an awesome person.
Yeah, I've known her since she was working with Bob Smith.
Really? Oh, well, because when I went in to go to vote, I said, I can't wear my red hat in there anymore. She said, you can now, in the primaries.
Right.
I said, okay, because I told her about how Lou Villicendro was wearing that Biden mask.
Right. Well, that would.
I think she's awesome.
Yeah. See, in that particular case, if you're talking about the primary for Victoria,
Yeah.
that wouldn't matter because Trump isn't a candidate for office. So,
Yeah, that's what she said.
yeah.
Victoria, we love you, honey. And if you read my Facebook, you're always going to see where I'm promoting her.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, and another thing I want to say, and I want to feel is that we need to hire a police chief from outer city, not grown up in the city of Manchester, not false, because they're all, the good old guys, and come on, let's be honest. Do they know enough about the gang wars that are going on?
Right.
Okay. And I want to also offer my condolences. I don't remember the young man's name. I think he was like 22 or 19. Got shot in the back at Derryfield Park 2 days ago.
Really?
Yeah. So I'm offering my condolences to the family.
Is he dead?
Yeah.
19?
19, either 19 or 20. He was going to be getting ready to play pro soccer.
Wow.
I don't want to know why it happened. I don't want to know. And we just should pray for his soul and spirit to be taken up.
Yeah. What is the? Did they catch the guy?
I haven't got him yet. No. I hate to put it this way. I'm kind of hoping it's not a white person. If you know what I mean.
No, I don't. It's
Okay.
so the kid that got shot is black.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I don't want to see a civil war. Okay. I don't want to see any killings.
I'll tell you. I had a conversation with a lady at the State House, and when she was talking about the George Floyd thing,
Yeah.
and I said, and this is going to sound insensitive or ignorant, but when I saw the cop putting his knee on that gentleman, I've seen cops do some pretty brutal things, so
Yeah.
that didn't really shock me too much. The fact that he died is horrible, but I did not see racism at all.
No.
Okay, I saw police brutality maybe, but that's something you decide in court, right?
Yeah.
But the fact that he's white and the guy being killed is black, it doesn't mean it's racist.
No, not automatically. Now they made a that statement.
In other words, assuming that that's racist is assuming motivation based on the color of somebody's skin, which is racist, right? I mean, you can look at the film and say, "Wow, that looks like police brutality."
Yeah.
Exactly. Right. Exactly.
I'd have to see. I didn't really watch all the videos, but that doesn't mean he's necessarily. I mean, you'd have to find other evidence besides that thing, that film or those films that that prove that he had racist intent or that he had animosity towards black people in general. But
His family are very rich now. They got over.
George Floyd's.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And what was it? What did Pelosi call him? And what's it, George Floyd? She called him a different name.
I don't know.
But, and the thing is, when I have a problem when they don't respect the veterans.
Yeah.
But yet they'll
I
do
agree.
it. They build a statue of a criminal. I'm sorry, that's wrong.
Yeah. I mean, George Floyd was not really a great guy.
No.
That doesn't mean it's okay to.
Not mean to kill him.
abuse
No.
them, but-
no.
But the other thing too is I think it's a lot like going to the hospital. I've been in and out of the hospital since I was little, and you have some nurses who are very kind, very compassionate, and absolutely wonderful. You have some that don't belong being nurses. They're angry, they resent having to take care of you, and they really would rather be out drinking.
Right.
And
Yeah.
and it's the same thing with cops.
Yeah.
There's I don't know if it's that they started out that way or they get jaded, but there's some cops that should not be cops. They're and it's the same in every profession. You have people that
Yeah.
lose their passion for their job and maybe they need to take a vacation or retire or
Yeah.
something.
That's like when I was up at radiation. I had a mosquito bite, and everybody panicked over and all that. And this woman came in with an ice pack because I had to go through the mammogram and all, and she literally threw it at me and hit me in the head. And when I went and I complained about it, they thought it was funny. Well, and stuff. I said, what happens if I had fallen and got hurt? Would that have been funny?
Right.
And because I was so surprised because 99% of the time I got excellent care.
Yeah, is that Elliot, right?
No, Hitchcock.
Hitchcock. Okay.
Elliot, I can't complain about them. I actually saw the white light when I was at the Elliot having surgery done.
Really?
Yeah. It was so amazing. I didn't want to come back.
Most people don't.
Yes, yeah.
You
The
know?
music,
Very.
my mother says, my real mother, I heard of it, you have to go back. Your journey is not over.
We should do a whole show on that. You know?
Yeah, I'd love to do it with you and I and you.
Yeah.
Well, folks, we got to let you go. We have here now the Honorable Gary Hopper. I question the Honorable, but that's okay.
Hey.
But if you, folks, if you got a nice lasagna or a piece of Gary carries big, deep pockets, do you not, Gary?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Oh, could we have time to quick one?
Yeah.
Quick one. When I was a kid, teenager, 10, I think I was about 10, we went out to eat, right? And this is how impulsive I was. So I go around, I had about a half a plate of spaghetti, and it was an Italian restaurant, just with my mom and my brothers and my sister, and the waitress says, looks at it, says, would you like a doggy bag? I stood up and says, no, thank you, and I grabbed an entire handful of spaghetti and just shoved it in my pocket, right? So, Mom, first of all, I looked at Mom, and she's like getting red mad, and then she starts laughing, and she can't handle it.
Well, folks, thanks for tuning in. I think we had a very informative show today.
It was
with,
very interesting,
with Tony
to say the least,
Williams,
yes.
and you coming on. And I always want to let you know that you're always welcome.
Thank you, man.
Okay? And we got to go up for breakfast. Only this time I'll buy you a bowl of cereal.
All right.
I've been hearing this now for a while.
Cheerios or
Cheerios.
Okay.
We need the fiber. See you all next week, folks.
Bye, guys.